this is all about electioneering, I think it's misplaced at this stage.
She wishes, though, that the government had responded in the same way to Sudan, Ethiopia and Zimbabwe. Aisha Ismail, Cape Town.
Months of uncertainty over the future of Tongaat Hulett are over. Creditors have voted to approve the business rescue proposal for the acquisition of the sugar producer by the Vision Group. Now, Tongaat Hulett was placed under business rescue in October 2022 when it emerged that key former executives had allegedly manipulated accounts for years, and new management failed to right the ship after difficulties experienced during the COVID pandemic. Let's discuss what this means with Andrew Russell of SA Canegrowers. Russell, good morning. Andrew, rather to you. We are sure that many in the industry are relieved that at least there is a plan now, after many months of a very difficult process, but there are still concerns about the funding for the implementation of this business rescue plan. Do you share those concerns?
Good morning. Yes, certainly there are concerns around the funding and also around the industry obligations that are outstanding by Tongaat Hulett to the South African Sugar Association. There's a considerable amount of money that had to be made up by the remaining partners in this sugar industry, and we're hopeful and expectant that the new Vision Group will honor those obligations or make it clear in terms of how they intend to deal with those industry obligations.
Of course, job losses is a very big concern as well. It's not very clear what the plan is in terms of retrenchments. We know that community is heavily reliant on the work that is created by Tongaat Hulett. In your opinion and from what you know, is there clarity about retrenchments at this stage?
No, as you say, it's not clear. As the Tongaat Hulett Group own 3 sugar mills and a refinery within South Africa, and there are also operations outside of South Africa in Mozambique and in Zimbabwe. Our concern is primarily around the South African operations, and it is absolutely critical that all 3 of those mills and the refinery remain in operation in order that our growers have somewhere to deliver their crop, and that the value chain that you just mentioned that employs a significant amount of people in the deep rural areas of KwaZulu-Natal continues to operate and its future sustainability is secured.
Let's talk about what you make of Vision's business rescue plan. Unpack it for me. What do you make of it? What are the things that you're feeling positive about?
Well, it's very reassuring that it's a South African consortium that hopefully has South Africa's interests at heart. And we're very hopeful that this is a very big step forward in terms of turning around the Tongaat Hulett Group and again, putting it on a more sustainable path. The industry as a whole has recognized that and is on the process of designing a new future for the South African sugarcane value chain, which will include products beyond just sugar and molasses, which is what we make at the moment. So we're at a very exciting time of the industry, and it's absolutely critical that all of our players are up and running and operating profitably and sustainably into the future. And this vision proposal certainly has the hallmarks and the signs of being able to contribute to that.
Now, we know, of course, that Tongaat Hulett also missed some payments to you guys that really caused concern, thousands of people not being paid, etc. in the past. Talk to me about what the current state of their account with you is at the moment.
Yes, so as Tongaat Hulett went into business rescue in October 2022, they were unable to make some of the payments to growers timeously. But I'm very pleased to report that those payments were actually made, although not on time, and that since January 2023, right through to the current time, all payments to growers for cane delivered to Tongaat Hulett mills has been paid timelessly and in full. Our real concern is the 900 million that Tongaat Hulett is in arrears with regards to payments to the South African Sugar Association, because we had to make, as growers, we had to make that up in the 2022 season, and we're hopeful of being paid that back. So the payments directly to growers for cane delivered is up to date, but the industry payments we're still waiting for.
You do sound very positive this morning, Andrew, as you're speaking to us. It sounds like you're positive that things are moving in the right direction. We touched on the financial and the funding aspect of this a bit earlier. You're also sounding very positive about that. But this, of course, was not only a financial crisis that was faced, it was a management crisis. We're talking about some mismanagement that also took place. What's your take on the current management and the plan for management, and whether they will be able to actually successfully implement this rescue plan?
Well, it's difficult to comment at this time. We're reassured by the fact that the Vision Group is a successful business operation within South Africa already. So they understand the playing field. They understand the South African context. What I can say is that since going into business rescue, the Tongaat Hulett operations have been run very effectively. They have been receiving the necessary funding in order to maintain their equipment and to retain their quality staffing. And their mills have, in fact, performed a lot better in the last year and a half under business rescue than they had performed before. So you intimated earlier that the demise of the Tongaat Hulett Group was primarily because of irregular accounting practices, but there were also concerns about the way that their mills and their refinery have been operated. And I can say that there has been a significant improvement in that regard. So while I may sound optimistic, I'm cautiously hopeful, I think, is where we sit at the moment. And we're certainly looking forward to restoring stability to our industry, which we can't do until these mills are out of business rescue. We have another milling operation that operates out of Stanger. The Gledhow mill is also in business rescue, and we're working hard to progress their case as well. And all of these things add an enormous amount of anxiety and uncertainty to what is already a very vulnerable industry. So optimistically hopeful, I think, is where we are.
Talk to me perhaps just lastly about why it is so important to the cane growers in that area or in the country, to the economy of South Africa, and ultimately also to the community in Tongaat, that Tongaat Hulett is saved.
Yes, well, the sugar industry in KwaZulu-Natal and in Mpumalanga is found in the deep rural areas of those provinces where there are not a lot of other economic opportunities. And the sugar industry is a very accessible one for growers, large scale and small scale, and has a significant footprint within the rural areas of KwaZulu-Natal. Tongaat Hulett operating 3 mills and a refinery. There are tens of thousands of small-scale growers who depend on those mills, as well as hundreds of large-scale growers, and as well as all the farm workers and the support industries that they depend on. The industry as a whole has an impact on over 1 million livelihoods, and Tongaat Hulett is a significant portion of that, up to 25% in some estimates. So it really is important that we rescue these mills, that we keep their doors open, that we retain the jobs and the livelihoods that are supported by Tongaat Hulett and the value chain that flows through their mills.
Well, thank you so much for your time. That was Andrew Russell from the SA Cane Growers Association, carefully optimistic this morning about the business rescue plans for Tongaat Hulett. As he says, many jobs, thousands of jobs reliant on this.
Well, you know, like I said to you and the team this morning, you have to choose which one. It's either the industry fails for such important provinces like KZN and Mpumalanga, and some jobs are safe, or some jobs are safe. So it's either all jobs are not safe, or at least some.
Yeah, at the moment not very clear whether jobs will be lost, and if so, how many, but
hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
That is ultimately what we all hope for, is that no jobs will be lost, but we'll keep an eye on that story for you as well. It's about 15 minutes before